GT Sport, Gran Turismo Sport ladies final here, and as we have had in the past of our other two finals that we've had already, this will be a 10-minute practice session that we'll have, then we'll have 10 minutes of qualifying and then a 20-minute race here. Now of course this race we have a full female lineup of 10 drivers who have raced their way in here for this final here in Gran Turismo, and of course we have all 10 of our simulators filled up. As we said, practice now underway. So let's start with who we have here with us at the GT final. I do see that one of the drivers is not in the session currently, but we'll get to them later on. So as we said, we've got 10 drivers here in total. We'll start with the bottom row. On the far left we have Feroz Mahdi Ali, alongside her will be Alia Nasriq. Then we have Ghada Al-Yamni with Julia Al-Yamni alongside the company on the fourth simulator. Then on the far right of the bottom row we have Raneem Abou-Ghoshi, and then we go to the top row where we'll have Rada Al-Hajj in the sixth simulator. In the seventh simulator alongside her will be Rama Al-Hajj, and then we have Farah Al-Yusuf on the eighth simulator, that's in the middle of the top row, and Najid Farhad is on the ninth simulator with Amal Al-Tuani Tarki, on the far right hand side on the top row of the simulators here. So what we did a couple of days ago when we had the Gran Turismo Sport final for the men, we will do the same thing as we did here with the ladies here. So we have 10 drivers, one winner. However, the top 5 will walk away with prizes here. Prize pool of 11,000 Saudi Arabian Riyals on offer here for our top 5, and it's going to be mighty competitive as we've seen already over the past couple of months, I want to say here, because we've been doing this now for 2 months. We've had a number of heat finals to basically let the 10 best lady drivers here to basically race for that 11,000 Saudi Arabian Riyal prize pool here. So we are using the Spielberg in Austria. It's called the Red Bull Ring. If you're a fan of Formula 1 and GT racing, it has a total of 9 corners. It is 4.326 kilometers in length, and it's going to provide some fantastic racing action here for us today. Of course, we are using the simulators here, all prepared and operated by Pole Position. As you see, if you are here in the Aramco Cinema Marina, we have 3 separate stations. Today we're using the Gran Turismo setup, running Gran Turismo Sport on the PS5. In the middle we have Race Room that is running a Formula 1 setup at the moment. We've had some changes there over the past couple of days. And on the far left we have the Assetto Corsa Competizione setup with the full immersive racing simulators, which are an absolute blast to drive. If you've not had a go on them already, I highly recommend you do it as soon as you can. Check out all the simulators here actually we have, because they are all great fun to drive here. So the ladies are currently out in their practice session here. As we said, we'll have around 20 minutes of racing coming up soon, which should give us 14 laps of racing. The time to beat so far is 1:36.6. I think we may even go lower than that at some point, but those are the times that were set earlier on. Now the ladies will have the option to drive either with manual or automatic transmission. I know the gents preferred manual. I do think we had at least one that did automatic, but manual is obviously the preferred way to drive here around the Red Bull Ring. Collisions are on to add that sense of realism, as is a number of options as well that are set up before the race gets. But of course, all 10 of our drivers here have the option to tweak and set up the cars the way they want to do it, hence why we have 10 minutes of qualifying here, so they can get the setups right before qualifying, and of course all play for that all-important prize there. As we said, 5 winners here today. Of course, the overall winner will walk away with the massive amount of money that is on offer here. So 11,000 Saudi Arabian Riyals are on offer here for our top 5. They'll be separated for that top 5, so all of them will get various amounts. Now, in terms of the car that we're using here for this Gran Turismo Sport final, it is once again the 2017 Aston Martin Vantage Group 4 car. And actually, no, that looks older than 2017 looking at it now. However, that's what it's saying here in front of me. And this, of course, is somewhat of a spec series here, because all the drivers will be using the Aston Martin Vantage V8 here to level out the playing field. It is the GT4 spec, or Group 4 as it's known as in Gran Turismo. This, of course, is the 3rd generation Vantage as well. Now, it's interesting to know how real the game is, as Gran Turismo Sport is. The graphics are insane, the car's just absolutely picture perfect, as are the tracks as well. But there are some key differences between the real life car and the car that's racing here, because of course the one key difference is, and we may see this somewhere throughout any of the sessions that we have running here, is that the steering wheel is on the wrong hand side. For some reason in the game it is on the right hand side, whereas the real life versions of these GT4 cars are on the left hand side. There's also a smaller detail that many won't pick up on as well, and that is on the bonnet of the vehicle, as one of the scoops is actually missing. But besides that, all the cars are identical, and it's up to the drivers to set up the cars how they feel comfortable. So we will see maybe some different changes, some different setups here, as we are currently underway with practice here at the moment. So the fastest lap of this session so far, 1:42.931 here around Austria, around the Red Bull Ring here at the Aramco Sim Arena. As we said, we have 10 drivers in total, all vying for essentially 5 positions, but of course the top spot is where you want to be. After this session is concluded, we'll go into a 10-minute qualifying to set up the field for the race, as things are already getting a little dicey here going through the final corner. We saw 3 cars there scrapping out for one piece of tarmac there going through that corner, but it seems to be they have settled it out, and away they go now around the track to get some quality time on track, to get a feel of the 9 corners here, because of course turn 1 will certainly be a hotspot right at the beginning of the race, although I have been told that turn 2 and 3 is where overtaking is going to be key. The drivers here really need to play their cards right if they want to make moves through turns 2 and 3. Turn 2 lap 1 could be an issue, because of course it is after that the long straight leading up from turn 1, because turn 1 is quite a slow corner, but then we've got a long straight that kind of kinks a little bit to the right and then a little bit to the left as well, all the way down to turn 2, and that is quite a high speed corner, heavy into the braking zone. The last thing you want to do is brake late. We did see some calamity in earlier sessions and some of the previous finals that we've had into turn 2, but let's hope that everything goes nice and clean here in our Gran Turismo Sport Ladies Final. So the session at the moment is practice here at the Aramco Sim Arena, and if you haven't done so already, you need to check out some of the simulators that we have here, all set up and run by Pole Position. As we said, we're using the quote-unquote basic setups here with the Gran Turismo and the PS5 here, but then of course we have degrees of intensity as you go on the different simulators that we have here. So on the far right, if you're here in the arena, we have the PS5 setup running Gran Turismo Sport. Then we have in the middle are the race room prepared units that really give you a feel of how it's like to drive a Formula 1 car. You sit so low down and the pedals sit actually higher than usual. It's not like driving a real car on the road. It's as if you're driving a Formula 1 car. And then on the far left is the Assetto Corsa Competizione, or ACC for short, setup. That is far more immersive, and it really puts you in and really makes you feel like you're actually driving the car. It's got that full setup with the speakers behind it, really encases you inside the car. So as we said, practice here underway. It should be just a few more minutes until we go into qualifying before we set the field up here for our Gran Turismo Sport Ladies Final. Of course, this is not the last final we'll have actually. Tomorrow we'll have the race room final as well as the Marshall's Cup 2. So we'll actually have 2 finals tomorrow. So a jam-packed day of action tomorrow, which will be good fun here this weekend to wrap out the finals that we have here at the Aramco Sim Arena. So still the fastest lap of the session so far, 1:42.239. Now that's set by the night simulator, so unfortunately we don't have the names of the drivers on the left-hand side of your screen, but I do have them in front of me, and I can tell you that it's Najid Fahad who has the fastest lap in this session so far, as she's on the night simulator. That's on the top row. The far right, essentially the second to last simulator there on the far right hand side, and she's 0.7 of a second up the road from Farah Al Yusuf, who conveniently is actually right to her left there. So of course she might be looking over to the right ever so slightly, but with the curved screens it might be a little difficult to do so. But there she is right now. She's looking to improve her time, hasn't done so just yet. and 0.7 of a second. Quite a tough ask. Now, I do remember when qualifying during one of the men's finals that we had, the gap was almost 2 seconds to the good between pole and second place, which when you look at it is mighty impressive. And it actually looks like Najed has gone actually faster now because she's increased the gap up to 1.1 seconds. She's now got 1:42.239, so she set herself further up the road here. Now, do mind that this is practice at the moment. This is not qualifying, as now we're looking at the third place car overall in the session. That is simulator number 10. Now, I wonder if we have a slight change here. No, we don't have a change here, just some verification going on. And that is Ahmad, who is third fastest at the moment. She is 1.4 seconds off of the best session, but slightly closer to second position at the moment. I think they're just flashed on the screen, but around about 0.4 of a second separating the two of them here at the Aramco Sim Arena. And again, looking at the session leader here, who still has that comfortable gap of at least 1.1 seconds separating herself and second place. Now, will she be able to carry this over to qualifying? We'll have to wait and see. It looks like we're about to get qualifying underway. No, it's just a quick, brief look at the lobby there. So the qualifier will begin now actually in around 5 seconds now, and then we can see who will be the fastest in this session. Will it be Najed Fahad, or will one of the other 9 drivers here show what it's worth here to snatch pole position away here in our Gran Turismo Sport Ladies Final. So we are now underway officially here for qualifying. 10 minutes of racing here to set the field up. Who will it be on pole position? Well, an early favourite would of course be Najed Fahad, but we haven't maybe seen everything so far here in our first session. So session number 2, it is qualifying, as we said, to set the field up. So it'll be 1 hour lap, and then we'll have the time lapse come up straight after that. So give or take, we'll have about 2 to 3 laps here of qualifying, depending on how the sessions go. So this will be very interesting here before we set the field up. So we're looking at Najed Fahad, as we said, possibly the early favourite here, and she looks to be out third at the line. So she is tucked up behind. Someone's already got off through turn 2. Don't want to do that at least on your next lap. Flying lap, not too much of an issue because, of course, it's not affecting your time too much. However, once you go across the line for the first time, that will be your first time lap, and the last thing you want to do is get it wrong on that lap because you might not have a lot of time to set a decent enough time here around the Red Bull Ring. As we said, 9 corners in total. Quite a short track as well. Plenty of action though all over the place. We've got 9 corners, we said 4.326 kilometers in length, which should give us around 14 laps of racing here. There's things already getting spicy here on just the flying lap here around the Red Bull Ring. As it looks like we have our first driver making her way around the penultimate corner. Here she is now. This is the second simulator. This is Arena Nasrik, who will be across the timing line first. Actually tucked up right behind her as well is the 5th simulator of Raneem Al-Ghubaisi, who will be setting a time as well right after. And she looks like she's picking up the stream as well from the first driver to go across the line. So 8 minutes to go in the session, so it's more or less around 2 laps. So might get at least 4 laps of quali here. But the first driver now to take across the finish line and take the first, will take over for this first timing here, is on her way now. What can she do here? We've got 2 cars also attempting, by the looks of it, to work together. Now, since you didn't know, we do have family members here that are in the field, so I wonder what they're going to do. So, for example, we've Ghada Al-Yemni and Julia Al-Yemni, who will be racing against one another. So it'll be interesting to see what those 2 will do. And actually, we're looking at one of them right now because one of the Al-Yemanis is right in front of us at the moment, and we were on board there with Al-Yusuf for the time being, so there's no family connection there. But if we look a little bit further down, the 6th and 7th simulators, we have the Al-Hajj team there of Rada and Ramna, who, let's see if they will be teaming up against the rest of the other 8 drivers that we have here racing with us today. So it looks like we've got a spin there going through what looks to be turn 3 there. Now, the good news is that collisions are turned off, so the drivers can more or less just go through them. Actually, no, collisions are on, aren't they? Let's just double check that. Collisions are on, damage is off. So collisions are on, so it is something that we have to note down here. So it looks like the first drivers are working their way now through the penultimate corner, and we'll see what the first lap times are here. It looks like Amal is not having the best time here, and it'll be interesting to see what Najid Fahad can do as well, because of course she was the fastest in practice. So our first time there, 1:46.104, and that's 4 seconds off of the fastest lap that we had during practice. And that is provisional pole for now, but he had to step down now to 1:44.730 from Fahad Al Yusuf, who is now the early pace setter here. With that 1:46, well, it's just gone down now because, well, no, Fahad Al Yusuf is taking pole, so she still has that 1:44.730. It momentarily looked like another driver had it, GT4. Now that is Jody Al-Yemni, who also set a time of the 1:44s as well, albeit slightly slower. I think she was just a tenth of a second slower. Indeed she is, actually 2/10 of a second slower, and that is the gap between pole position and second place here at the moment. We're looking at the session leader here in quali. That is Fahad Al Yusuf, as we said. She is the early pace setter. Now, interesting enough, where is Najid Fahad? She's down in 6th position at the moment, so not the best first quali lap for her, as she was the early pace setter in practice earlier today. Now, can she improve? Because I'm not sure where she is currently on track. She's not in this group of cars here, although our current pole sitter is in this mix at the moment, just watching the action in front of her, trying not to get involved. Because of course she doesn't want to ruin her chances here of starting in pole position. Well, she's already secured it for now, but of course we still do have less than 5 minutes to go in the session, so still plenty of time on the clock to set a faster lap time from any of our 10 drivers here that we have. But for the time being, it is Fahad Al Yusuf who leads the field here and has provisional pole for the time being. Now across the line there was Ranem Al-Ghosi, who set a 1:45. However, it looks to be that Fahad Al Yusuf has gone quicker again, because she's just on a 1:43.967. So she improves her lap time and puts herself slightly further ahead compared to the rest of the field, with 4 minutes to go on the clock here around the Red Bull Ring. It's still Najid Fahad, who we've yet to see. There she is now. She's coming across the line, still in 6th position, and she goes pole there with a 1:42.797. She is 1.1 seconds faster now than second position. Now, what can Fahad Al Yusuf do here? Because of course on the left hand side of their screens, she will now see that she is no longer the pole sitter. She will line up on the second row of the grid provisionally if the session were to end now, but she still has enough time for at least 2 more laps here to see if she can secure pole position here. But it's going to be quite a tough ask here, because it seems to be Najid Fahad here is consistent with her lap times, and she's consistent with her practice pace as well, because she was 1.1 seconds faster in that session. She is now 1.1 seconds faster again in qualifying, and she is certainly the one to be here yet again. Her first quali lap wasn't the best. I could imagine that she may have got caught up in some of the tussles that were taking place all over the track, but on her second lap she has improved and she shot her way up the order. It looks like we have some drivers that have not put a time in at the moment, and it is Rama Al-Hajj, who's not put a time in just yet. So unfortunately it may be track limits that is playing against her here, and there she goes now. She goes 7th fastest by the looks of it, and she set her first lap time in there. Now we're looking at, well, there she is now. She is, as we said, she's now rocketed up to 7th position. However, she's still quite a ways off the session leader with 1:42.797 as the time to beat here, with just under 2.5 minutes remaining on the clock here in the Gran Turismo Sport Ladies Final. As we said, the top 5 will receive a prize pool of 11,000 Saudi Arabian Riyals, with the winner also walking away with an additional prize there. Now that's going to affect what we just saw there on track was a slight shunt from behind from the 4th placed driver here in the session, and that is Ranem Al-Ghobaisi, who unfortunately got in the back there of a slower driver. Now that will impact her lap time here, especially if she was looking to improve. Now she's currently lined up on the second row of the grid, but she'd like to improve her position now and possibly on the second row. However, due to that small bump there, she might not have enough time to do another lap here, because of course this lap will have to be binned and she'll have to wait for the next time round. Now, she's going slower than predicted. Now, she doesn't want to be doing that just yet because she still does have time on the clock and she needs to get across the line as soon as she can. It looks like our Pulsar currently in the mix here, trying to go 3 wide through what looks to be turn 3 at the moment. Got through there nice and cleanly. Runs a little wide through turn 4. So she's going to have to abort this lap, unfortunately, and gets a little bit sideways. So unfortunately, no improvement on time this time round for her. We still do have another driver that's not set a lap time, but she just does there. That is Rada Al-Hajj, who's also struggling here on the opening laps of this qualifying session. Misses the braking zone there completely, going through turn 1. It's not what you want to do on the opening lap of the race here as well, because things can get very interesting going up into that first right-hander. So for the time being, it is still a lap time of 1:42.239 to beat by Najid Fahad, and alongside her for company provisionally on the front row of the grid will be Farah Al Yusuf for the time being, but we still have some time left on the clock. A few drivers still have enough time to complete a lap here in qualifying. One driver's already got into the pit lane. Now, that is the car that's on the 6 simulator. That is Rada Al-Hajj, who's decided to go into the pit lane. I think she may have called it quits here, maybe just adjusting a setup here just to get it right here before the start of the race. So the timer has officially elapsed 10 minutes. We still have now 3 minutes to go for the last drivers to come across the line and collect the checkered flag in qualifying. But for the time being, it looks to be Najid Fahad has the time to beat, and it looks like it's going to be quite difficult as well to jump that time, because she's actually improved on a previous lap there, because she's now gone up to 1.7 seconds faster than anybody else here in this session. That is a huge amount of time separated between pole position and second place. So it will be Najid Fahad and Farah Al Yusuf who will share the front row of the grid provisionally. That we still have at least 2 to 3 drivers that have still got on their final lap here to set a time in, because these two ladies here have come across the line once the clock has struck 0, and unfortunately they do not have an additional lap to set another time here to hopefully improve their time or extend their time here for pole position. So final laps here being completed in qualifying. We got a driver that spun round on one of the back straights and pointing in the wrong direction. As across the line there comes Julia Al-Yemeni. She will line up on the second row of the grid here. And alongside her will be Raneem Al-Gobesi. So about a minute and a half remaining here in the session before the start of our Gran Turismo Sport ladies final here at the Aramco Sim Arena. The field has been set by the looks of it. Yes, indeed it has, as all the screens now are showing us the times. Now I wonder if the main screen here will show us what the times are and who will be starting where, so we can get a glimpse of all of the drivers. But I can confirm that at least on the front row of the grid we have Najid Fahad and Farah Al Yusuf, who will share the front row of the grid here around the Red Bull Ring here, this Aramco Sim Arena. And then we can have a look at who will start behind her. So we've got on the second row of the grid, as you said, we have Jodie Al-Yemeni, and alongside her will be Raneem Al-Gobesi. On row number 2, we will have Rada Al-Yemeni and Alia Nasriq, who will share the third row of the grid. On the fourth row of the grid, we'll have Rama Al-Hajj, and alongside her will be Feroz Mahdi Ali. I can't see who will be at the back of the grid, but we do have at least 10 qualifiers here. I have a feeling the sim that's on the far left, which is the sixth simulator, Rada Al-Hajj, is now still out on track. So there we go, qualifying officially complete there. There you can see actually at the end there, the gap came down to 9/10 of a second between the top two ladies here with a 1:43.020. Just saw that pop on the left-hand side of your pictures here. But it looks like we're about to get ready now for the Gran Turismo Sport final, ladies final here at the Aramco Sim Arena, racing around the Red Bull Ring. And it will be Najid Fahad on the front row of the grid, and alongside her will be Farah Al Youssef as the crowd cheers for the ladies here in the Aramco Sim Arena. So it will be a rolling start. We roll our way through the first corner, and let's see what happens here as we come across the line here for the first time. 20 minutes of racing coming away, give or take 14 laps here of racing. The green flag is waved, and away we go. We race our way uphill here for the first time, and it's corner one. Let's see how it goes. Already got a nice straight line here going up towards that first corner. Who brakes early, who brakes late? Can't quite catch that. Does anyone go off? Not yet in the top three at least, but a good start there from Najid Fahad, and she's racing her way off. But a great battle already brewing here for the lead of the race, because it looks like she has not been able to shake Farah Al Youssef just yet. It looks like she's actually tucked into the toe here for the time being. Indeed, a great run here for Al Youssef here, really tucking up behind her, but unfortunately not close enough to make a move into the braking zone there. Najid gets a little bit loose there through turn two. Now, in the tow once again here is Al Youssef, and she wants to capitalise here. She needs to stay with Najid if she wants to challenge for a race victory here in our 20-minute race. As we got battles brewing a little further down, and some drivers already losing time to the leaders. 15 seconds back is Amal here. Unfortunately, ways back here from these two are battling for the race lead here. About 2 car lengths separate the two of them here. And the Aston Martin V8 Vantage is here. You know, just around 500 horsepower. All the cars, as we said before, are identical. The only difference is if they're using manual or automatic transmissions, plus they have the added bonus of setting up the cars they feel comfortable with. Of course, that's what we had during the practice session there. So it looks like Fahad has managed to stay out in the lead, but she's being chased by Al Youssef here, and there's a spin there in 7th position. That was Ghada Al Yemeni, unfortunately, going round. The yellow flag briefly waving there. As here is the lead battle once again. Again, 2 car lengths separate the two ladies here, and in front the gap is 5/10 of a second, with Fahad going quicker here with a 1:47.060. Again, closing up in the braking zone here. That is not the battle for the lead, but this is the battle for 3rd position on track between Al Yemeni, Jodi Al Yemeni, and alongside her was Raneem Al Gubaisi, battling it out here. But here we go, battle for the lead here again. Al Youssef looking to the inside there, but she tucks in now, heavy in the braking, doesn't want to go in the back there of Fahad there, using all of the curb that she can. She's got to be careful though of those sausage curbs, because they can really spoil race there. And the corner, you can just see the better exit that Fahad got there through that corner, because of course she did not go over the sausage curbs, and it slowed her down massively. But look how much Al Youssef benefits in the braking there. She really brakes late there, but unfortunately it looks to be she's just not on the accelerator early enough to capitalise on that late braking that she's pulling off here. But 5/10 of a second is the gap here between the two ladies out in front. This is a fantastic battle, and this is only the 2nd lap of the race here at the Aramco Sim Arena. So it is Najid Fahad out in front, Farah Al Youssef in close proximity. She's looking, she's seeking, she's thinking, where can she make a move? She's very strong through that second corner, very strong through sector 1 is Al Youssef as well. Now she comes into the penultimate corner, runs a little bit too wide, that gets loose through the corner, and she runs wide. That's not going to pay her any benefit there whatsoever, but she's managed to stay with Al Youssef, Fahad here at the moment, and she's picked up a penalty, unfortunately, that is due to her running wide, and it's 5/10 of a second of a penalty. She's going to be very careful. She's going to need to shake that penalty off as soon as she can. Again, very, very late on the brakes. So Youssef looks to the inside, a slight tap there on the right rear of Fahad's car, but did not manage to upset the vehicle at all. But that was a very bold move there, going down towards turn 1. Now into turn 2 again. This is where Al Youssef is incredibly late on the brakes there, and almost to get into the back of the race leader. She's managed to shake the penalty off. Actually, what a great move there on the inside, just not close enough to go through, and a great job there from Fahad blocking the door, and again she's doing the same thing here as well. Now down towards turn 3 here at the Red Bull Ring. These two, a fantastic battle here between the two. A slight nudge there to tell Fahad, look, I'm faster than you, let me through. Another slight tap there through the corner, as it looks like Fahad Al-Yusuf has picked up the fast lap of the race for the 1:41.881 here around the Red Bull Ring. And as we said, a fantastic battle between these two ladies here at the Aramco Sim Arena. Now the gap has gone up to 0.7 of a second, because again, late braking doesn't always pay off here for Al-Yusuf, but nonetheless she is sticking with the race leader, and she's not letting her escape here. This is going to be a very hard fought victory between these two ladies here. Now into the penultimate corner. She's got to be careful this time round. Two very different lines taken here between these two ladies here. And again, she's trying around to go around the outside, get the cut back, drifts a little bit wide, a good move on the inside. She takes the lead. So that is Farah Al-Yusuf now in the lead of the race, with Najat Fahad now tucked in behind her, but this is going to be quite a difficult one for her to stay up ahead, because of course Najat Fahad has been looking at her tricks, and now she's going to do the same thing that Al-Yusuf did to her on a number of corners, and try break as late as she can to sneak her way up on the inside. But a great move there from Al-Yusuf to take the lead here, and that is another change of position. No, this was the replay, wasn't it, going through the final corner? Yes, it was, because that's Al-Yusuf going up on the inside. A done deal, but for how much longer? Because of course Najat Fahad, well, she wants to reclaim the top step of the podium here. Now if we look further back, we haven't got a lot of battles brewing. It looks like the field is quite spread out. We do have someone off though in what looks to be sector 2 at the moment, and unfortunately facing the wrong direction, but the good news is that she's got going again. And now the two leaders come into that yellow flag zone, so no overtaking opportunity here, unfortunately, as one of the cones has now taken residency in the middle of the track here in the Red Bull Ring, but the yellow flag promptly removed, and now we've got a back marker in front of the two ladies here. Oh, this is going to be dicey here with one, that's the 10th place car here at the moment, unfortunately coming onto track. Now the good news is that with the collisions turned on, they do ghost at some point to ensure that, well, there's no unnecessary moves being taken here, and that could have been all wrong there for our two leaders here. So Fahad Al-Yusuf continues to lead here as Najat Fahad drifts out wide through the penultimate corner. This, of course, plays in the favour of Al-Yusuf. She raced away. Now it looks to be Fahad has picked up a penalty here. She's been fighting them secondly. Very similar move that we saw Al-Yusuf get the penalty for 2 laps ago, and unfortunately she seems to be losing time now to Al-Yusuf. They've got some back markers in front of them, and then I think they've got the 9th place car in front of them, and Al-Yusuf is just coming up across that car right as we speak now. Good for her because she's caught it on the straightaway, and that's a spin from 5th place overall. That was Gran Al-Yemeni who went round. Just lost it there through the braking zone, unfortunately. As the 9th place car there overall moves out of the way, and unfortunately for Najat there, unfortunately she missed her braking zone there, looking at what that car was doing in front of her, and she's lost heaps of time now. 3.3 seconds is the gap, as Al-Yusuf continues here to stretch out her lead here around the Red Bull Ring. This is a battle here for 7th position, but unfortunately for Rada Al-Hajj got it wrong there and just missed a braking point. So unfortunately that battle is now extended, as Al-Yusuf goes quickest of all with a 1:41.664 here around the Red Bull Ring. As again Al-Yusuf comes up on back marker traffic, wants to catch them on the straightaways and not through the corner, because it will really throw you off. Despite the cars ghosting, it can really throw you off if you find those cars in the corner, because it might unsettle you. You might think a little bit differently of where you're going to be in that corner where those cars are placed. And it looks like Al-Yusuf has made quick work of those two cars, made her way through there, and still stays ahead. It looks like the gap is coming down between Al-Yusuf and Fahad here at the leaders. Oh, we've got another spin through turn 4. And that is Amal who went round. Is out on 7th position. Here's a quick replay of what happened. Never mind. We're going back now with the race leader, and she enters the second half of the race here again, extending her gap now up to 4.5 seconds. Is Al Youssef escaping up the road, and I can assure you that the back markers have really played in the favour of her here, as it's allowed her to build the gap up. As unfortunately another spin there for Madi Ali, who unfortunately has gone round. I think that was a replay there of her spin, as Al Youssef continues to extend her lead here. Now remember, here at the Aramco Sim Arena, our top 5 drivers here in the Gran Turismo Sport Ladies Final walk away with, well, cash prizes, with a total prize pool of 11,000 Saudi Arabian Riyals. The winner will also walk away with an additional prize as well, and that prize pool of 11,000 Saudi Arabian Riyals will be split up between our top 5. As we have a look through the order, so it is Farah Youssef who leads from Najid Fahad in second by around 5 seconds. Then in 3rd position is Judy Al Yemeni, and behind her is Ghara Al Yemeni. Oh, sorry, no, apologies. It's Raneem Al Ghubaisi actually in 4th position, and then in 5th overall is Ghara Al Yemeni, who is in that all-important 5th position for the time being. Back with the race leader here, Al Youssef, who continues to extend her lead here. 5.8 seconds is the gap between Al Youssef and the pole sitter, Najid Fahad, who unfortunately has not been able to recreate her practice and qualifying laps here to stay with Al Youssef. And it looks to be actually Al Youssef has improved on the fast lap of the race as well, with a 1:41.082 here around the Red Bull Ring. So 7.5 minutes remain on the clock here, as the 8th place car loses it. It does come on track and unfortunately loses a position there as well. Here around the Red Bull Ring, puts it down into 9th position. And again now, the race leader coming up on back marker traffic again. And of course on board now with Al Youssef. On the outside there of her was the 10th and final place car on track. The blue flags wave to the driver to signify that it's a faster car coming through, and she should move out of the way here of the race leader. Al Youssef continuing to extend the gap as well, up to 5.4 seconds now to the good is her race lead. And actually it's come down there, and she looks a bit squirrely there through the complex as she enters sector 3 here for the 9th time here. Now oddly enough, the times have disappeared on our screens. That it will be the times between the 2 drivers that has disappeared. Is unfortunately there, Najid Fahad gets it wrong and off into the gravel trap, and that will cost us some time now to the race leader Al Youssef. I think we're actually looking at a replay, and that would be the reason as to why that gap has gone up now to 11 seconds here between Al Youssef and Fahad. Who continues, as we said, to extend her lead there and pass back markers. Just to see one of the drivers actually get up from her seat there as well. Here is the 2nd place driver, Fahad, the pole sitter, and of course the early field setter as well in practice and qualifying as well. Of course, she got that all-important pole position, but unfortunately she's not been able to retain the lead here and is dropping back as well by over 11 seconds. Then it's a further 12 seconds back to the 3rd place car that we're looking at right now, Jody Al Yemeni, who is behind the wheel, circulating around in the final podium finishing position for the time being. Here's 4th overall. This is Raneem Al Ghubaisi, who comes into a yellow flag area, so overtaking prohibited again. Looks like that 10th place car having issues. 5th overall here is Ghada Al Yemeni. So 2 of the Al Yemenis in the top 5. 1 second drift. Actually, it's a minute behind the race leader, yes, because of course she'll be overtaken there. Here is 6th position overall, and that is Alia Nasriq, He sits in 6th place for the time being. 7th overall is Amal, who is 7th at the moment and almost collects another driver there going through the first corner. Seems to be corner 1 here. A lot of drivers missing the braking zone there. There we briefly saw the 8th place car. That was Mahdi Ali. Here is 9th overall. And that is Rada Al-Hajj. And I have a feeling right behind her is Rama Al-Hajj. Unfortunately for the Al-Hajj team, they're not doing so well here in this race. The 10th place driver stopped in the middle of the track by the looks of it, unfortunately. Although this might be a replay looking at this, because looking at her simulator, she is moving on track. So not sure what this is. Oh, sorry, that's 10th position overall, not 10th simulator. Apologies for that. That is Rama Al-Hajj there, who's having an issue. I do wonder if it's not just an issue in game, but a possible technical issue as well. Back with the race leader here, Al Yusuf out in front and mixing it up with back marker, but continues to extend her lead now to 11.3 seconds. It was actually up not too long ago to almost 15 seconds, but it looks like she's had an off somewhere. What of that's to do with any of the battles that she's had with the back markers. She continues on her way here ahead of the pole sitter Najid Fahad. Al Yusuf continues to lead here. She works her way through the penultimate corner here with 3 minutes to go on the clock. Heavy into the braking zone, gets a little loose there through the final corner, but keeps all 4 wheels pointing in the right direction and across the line here to complete another lap and extend her gap as well to 11.7 seconds here. I think we have 2 retirements by the looks of it, which is unfortunate. So just 8 drivers left here in the session. So we continue on here. Here is 3rd place overall, 26.8 seconds off the leader, 15 seconds off of 2nd place. And that is Jodi Al-Yemeni, who is 3rd at the moment. All by her lonesome at the moment. Equal gaps between 2nd and 4th at the moment between her. So not too much to worry behind her, but she does want to catch up, of course, and be on that 2nd step of the podium. Now, 4th overall. Sorry, this is still looking at 3rd overall, but 4th overall is Raneem Al-Ghubaisi, who is 15.1 seconds adrift behind this lady right here. As you say, Jodi Al-Yemeni. And here is our 5th and final podium finisher, because we're going to stretch it out here to an extra 2 as she comes across the line. She's 1 minute and 16 seconds behind the race leader. Another 30 seconds, which will be down an entire lap, but of course still circulating here, and that is Ghana Al-Yemeni. She's had a few spins here and there, but circulating in 5th position. Back with the race leader now, 1.5 minutes or less on the clock actually to go here around the Red Bull Ring as the race leader through the final corner here. 13 seconds, so she's added another 2 seconds to her lead here around the Red Bull Ring, and looking to take top honours here around the Red Bull Ring here, the Aramco Sim Arena in our Gran Turismo Sport Ladies Final. 1 minute to go on the clock, so we should have enough time for at least 1 lap, depending on how quick Al Yusuf can finish this lap here. I don't think she will actually have enough time to complete another lap, so this should be the final lap of the race here for Al Yusuf, who has stretched her gap out now to 14.7 seconds to the good over pole sitter Najid Fahad. And here we are on board with Fahad at the moment, who unfortunately tumbled down the order. But at least she will be in 2nd when it comes across the line, and she also has an equal gap between herself and this lady right here, who of course is Jodi Al-Yemeni, who sits in 3rd overall. Behind her, Raneem Al-Ghubaisi, and then Ghada Al-Yemeni round out the top 5 And the clock has officially struck 0. This is the final lap of the race here for Al Youssef, who works her way now through sector 3 here for the final time around the Red Bull Ring here in the Aramco Sim Arena. And through the final corner she comes, runs ever so slightly wide, but that doesn't matter because across the line she comes, picks up a penalty in 5 of a second. You see she finished the race off there in style, but picks up the victory for Al Youssef. The pole sitter will come across the line in second. That is Najid Fahad, as across the line she comes now. And we've just seen 5th place come across the line as well. Ranim Al-Ghubaisi will pick up 5th overall. As we wait now for 3rd to come across the line. There she is now. This is Jodi Al-Yemeni across the line there in 3rd, and just behind her will be Ranim Al-Ghubaisi, sorry, it was Ghada Al-Yemeni, who was across the line there in 5th position. Now, let's see if we can get a quick word in with the race winner. As I see, she's already off the simulator as well. I said I was sat right behind her fan club there. So let's turn the microphone on and let's see if we can get a quick word in with our race winner. Started in 2nd place, as she discusses the race there with the rest of the drivers, the finishers. As I said, we'll try and get a quick word in. So just hold on for a few seconds. Okay, race winner doesn't want to have a chat, that's fine. It's a well-deserved victory. Definitely see her again on the podium shortly, which we'll have soon. So we'll just take a quick break here, and then we will have the podium presentation here for the top 5. So we will take a quick break here in the Aramco Sim Arena. But for those of you who are watching the live stream, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an epic race here for the ladies' final. We have plenty more action coming your way tomorrow, because of course we have the Masters Cup and of course the race room final as well. So as we said, we'll take a quick break here in the Aramco Sim Arena. And thank you very much for joining us.